Welcome, chess lovers, to a fun start of 2026 by Magnus Carlsen, which he called it a filthy way to start the new year. In the first round of Title Tuesday, he just played the Semi-Bongcloud opening, not the full Bongcloud, the Semi-Bongcloud. Let's see what happened in this fascinating chess game. Magnus Carlsen is playing with the white pieces, and someone suggested in the chat that he should play the Bongcloud for the first game of 2026, and he kicked off with e3, and after his opponent responded with d5, Magnus just played king e2. I guess you know the Bongcloud opening, e4, king e2. This is how they play it, and perhaps you know the famous game of Carlsen and Hikaru that they repeated the game like this, and the game eventually finished in a draw. That very famous game that the clip went viral. This is the game, and they just accepted the draw here. And in this game, Carlsen, just in the first round of Title Tuesday against a player which is 2200 in standard chess, 2300 in blitz chess, I mean over the board chess, and he's a very good player. But Magnus just says, let's have some fun for the new year, and let's see what happened. Knight to f6, we have f3, and e5. Black is just controlling the center, all of the rules that you need to follow, and Magnus just plays king f2 to be able to develop his bishop into the game. His opponent plays knight to c6. He just wants to finish his development. Bishop to b5. Finally, a piece comes out, and black started an attack. He just wants to kill Magnus Carlsen in the opening. b3. Now we are going to fianchetto this bishop. Pawn to h4. Black is coming. Knight to e2, and black is coming. He just pushed this pawn to h3. Magnus just plays g3, and now we have e4. He's going to crack open this king. This is a very nice way to attack. And Magnus was saying that he doesn't have any mercy in the opening, and he was really terrified here because now black is going to take, and he has to play this. And now black has both knight g4 and bishop g4. In the game, he played bishop to g4. Bishop to g4, trying to penetrate by bishop and knight. And in this position, Magnus plays bishop to b2. The main aim of this move was that Magnus himself was saying that, okay, in some positions, I might force to take on f6 to prevent knight to g4. And I think that against bishop f3, he can play rook f1, but then after knight g4 it can be terrifying. So he was even considering such lines to sacrifice an exchange to just prevent checkmate. The position is very bad. He was saying, oh man, the position is so bad. But his opponent gave him some time, like with this h6. Now it's again white to move, and c4. He's trying to get some play. From now on, we see how Magnus is trying to deal with these very bad positions. And you know what? In online chess and in recent chess, players learn that if you have a bad position, you are not supposed to lose. You can still defend. You need to be stubborn. You need to find resources. And after that, you might be lucky and survive that game. Let's see what happens here. Black still, with bishop f3, knight g4, had a very good chance. And Magnus probably would have sacrificed the exchange with bishop takes f6. But his opponent plays bishop c5. He says, okay, let's take on f6 nevertheless. He was very afraid of this knight, and he decided to take it, and now knight c3. Okay, we're just going to complete our development, and the king at the moment is safe. Black could have castled long here. He could have played rook d8. Everything is probably winning in this position. He goes for bishop f3, and he's going to attack this rook. And now Magnus finds a chance to play c takes d5. And with this, he's trying to have an imbalance in material. So if you're going to take here, you're most welcome to do it, because now I have queen takes h1, and I'm going to win this pawn, because if you take here, then there is knight take here, and there is a very nice tactic with this move order, and now a8 is hanging. So this is what Magnus prepared, and he was saying, I'm willingly sacrificing the exchange here. But his opponent plays c takes d5. He didn't take the rook, which c takes d5 was a good move. Magnus decided to include b4. Later on, he realized that d4 was a better move, but it's a very hard move to spot. He just played b4. Of course, bishop b4 runs into queen a4 check, bishop a7, and knight d5, queen to d6. And Magnus here saying, well, it's a very fascinating game. This is what he wants. He's bored of all of these theoretical fights and this kind of thing. He wants to just have something funny, and of course, maybe playing Bongcloud in the opening, saying Bongcloud is a disrespect, or whatever, but he just wants to have some fun in the new year, or most of the time it's in Title Tuesday. You can write down in the comments what you think about Magnus' approach to this. Okay, we have queen to d6, attacking the knight, and here it's very hard. And this is a very important point. many players would not analyze such points in chess and they say, okay, white is lost. Of course, white is much worse. But Magnus here found the only move that doesn't lose on the spot. He first analyzed queen b3 and then he realized it's very bad. Like he says after c6, I don't know what to do. And this is what exactly you need to do. In bad positions, you need to find how you're going to lose, with which move you're going to lose. So if I play this, I'm going to lose like this. It's very easy. So you're trying to find moves that does not lose just on the spot. You're just trying to hang on in the position. So Magnus just plays knight c3. Okay, I'm just trying to hang on, whatever you do. And after long castle, he says, okay, I just saw that it's a very bad position. Of course, it's a very bad position. Here, he should have given up on d2, but he thought that this position is helpless. Like this is what computer suggests. But he thought that this position is helpless, but engine says you can play it and this is not over. But for him, it was very, very bad, and he thought the only chance is to play d4 and to complicate matters and to not allow black to take on d2. Once again, you see, this time it's not right, but he decided to go into some positions when the win is not clear. When there is no clear way to win. Of course, this is very bad. He knew that this is very, very bad and he might lose his first game in Title Tuesday, but he just said, okay, I'm just going to play like this, and there is still complications in the position. So queen c6, we have e4, d takes e2, and after queen takes e2, you're going to lose your knight, so you need to hang on to your pieces. And black plays f5. And this is, of course, a terrible chess position. The king is on f3, the bishop is open, the queen is open, the rook is open, this rook is coming to e8. It's a terrible chess position. But let's see how, once again, Magnus plays it. He plays rook c1. Of course, many players will just resign here or have this mindset that I'm going to lose and they are not fighting. But here, Magnus just plays rook c1, seeing that his opponent will play rook e8, and now I will take on e2. He fastly takes on e2. So he's trying to create problems for opponent, questions for his opponent to answer. First of all, he's going to lose time, and secondly, it will not be easy to find the best moves in every single position. So in this position, black didn't find the best move, and actually the best move is very hard. It's to play g5. And I don't know, if you find g5 very quickly, you might be disqualified from the tournament. I mean, this is not an easy move. This is not the first move that you're going to think about. You're going to think about this, and Magnus was preparing. Okay, now knight d4 comes with tempo. Now you can see that rook c1 was such a good move now, because knight d4 is coming with tempo. And after that, white can just bring the rook here, and the king is safe. You will see something like this in the game. But g5 was a brilliant idea, because after this, now you can take on e4, and now there is so many options, and black is going to just checkmate you like this. This is just over. You need to give up the rook, give up the queen, but still you're going to be checkmated. So this is what g5 is all about, and g4 is just checkmate in one move, so you're going to lose or resign the game. But in the game he played queen g6. The idea is to play queen g4 checkmate, and Magnus here himself says that I was lucky that I have e takes f5. Because e takes f5 usually is not possible because queen is hanging, but here white is also attacking the queen. And the only way to win in this game for black is to play queen h5 check. And if he doesn't find this, he's going to lose this game. And this is where Magnus said chess is very cruel. Chess is a very cruel game, because black was having a very, very good position, but in this position he need to find the only way. And this is queen h5, queen h4. Not too hard, but time clicking, and you're going to see ghosts after it. I'm guessing that black didn't expect he takes f5, and he was shocked. And now here he just thought that, okay, if I give a check, there's g4, what to do after that? What to do after that? Still my queen is hanging, I cannot take his queen. If I play queen h4, maybe even he saw this and says, okay, knight d4 will just stop everything. But it will not stop everything, because black has a brilliant rook sacrifice with rook takes e4. And after that, black is going to win, because if you take here, there is queen f2. And if you take it with the king, there is rook e8, and now taking the queen. Of course, if black saw this, he would have won the game, but he didn't, and played queen c6. Or he didn't play queen c6, because queen c6 once again runs into knight d4. He plays queen b6, and Magnus says, okay, let's not play knight d4. And white is winning, all of a sudden. So, it's a funny game, first of all. I'm not trying to make everything philosophical, but this is very important, that in online chess, there are so many players that their understanding of chess or their level of opening knowledge in theory and endgame knowledge is not that much, but they know how to hold on, they know how to defend, and they will make their opponent clock lower and lower, and they have this stubbornness and resistance over the board, and most of the time they will be successful. Sometimes you will lose whatever you do. Your opponent plays a good game and they will answer all of the questions, but sometimes, like in this game, what black fails, and now after knight d4 it's not easy. Now black doesn't know what to do. His strategies failed and he just plays king b8, and after that we have rook e1. Once again, look at it, he's going to protect here. He saw rook d4 coming. Now I'm going to play queen c2. This is what he saw. This is why he played rook e1. Once again, it's a very difficult position. Just don't look at the engine. The king is still here. There is some rook e4. Rook d4 is coming. So rook e1. The idea of rook d4, queen c2 was a brilliant found once again. And black plays here, and now Magnus plays knight c5, preventing rook d3, creating some stress like knight d6. He plays king a8 to just... It's clear that black doesn't know what to do, but white plays king g4. He finds a safe place for his king on g4. And now he is even threatening to take on h3 to get rid of this pawn that marched from h7 to h3. It was a very good maneuver by black, but now white is going to take it with his king. And after g6, he just plays knight d6. He's confident that his king is safe. And now this knight is forking these two rooks. He plays rook g8 and he takes on h3. And after rook d7, he finds a nice tactic with knight c7, and black here resigns. It shows that he was a good player. But after rook c7, Magnus even pre-moved rook c7, and the idea is if you take here, there is queen d5. And if you play rook h8, you're thinking that you're clever. After king g4, you're going to take this. White does rook h7. So he just won this game, incredible game. And he said afterward, it's a filthy way. Of course, once again, let's see it, Semi-Bongcloud. Don't try this at home. Don't try this. You can try it in bullet games if you want to have a funny game. But black really punished Magnus for this opening. And here bishop f3, knight g4 would have caused a lot of problems for Magnus. But he wasted the time with a6. He found some ideas. I'm not saying that Magnus played all of the best moves, but he was holding on. In this position, he just played d4, which is tactically losing, but he's trying to get the game into complications. It reaches here, and black is winning. It's not even g5, only g5. Maybe it's only g5. No, queen h6 is similar to the other line. But okay, queen h6 is much better. Queen h5 is coming. And engine says rook g1 to prepare g4. So it's losing, of course, after queen h6. But after queen g6, he found ef5. Once again, the only way to defend. Black didn't found this queen h5. And after queen b6, he just went on to win this game. I mean, this is not a clean game or something like this. And this is what modern chess sometimes is all about. You know, you need to be very good at tactics. You need to be very good at defending. And once again, this game shows us that the opening is not everything that you need to learn in chess. You need to be good at defending and attacking and finding tactics and calculating and everything. So focus on everything and enjoy the game of chess.